Hi, I'm with Shaw and Santella, who's fighting for Brave against Jose Shorty Torres in this first flyweight tournament on September
24th. Yeah.
It's the main event. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hanging out. How's everything?
Good over here. How's training going? How's sparring and everything?
Yeah, training's going good. I'm actually out in Vegas right now. Gonna be cornering Sarge this coming weekend. So we've arranged training out here at some of the different schools and stuff like that. A couple of my teammates are out here, so nothing really changes except a little less stress being away from home, which is good. I get to chill out and relax and then just train.
How's it being with the kind of company like Mr. Joey Eubanks, and how much have you helped each other prepare for your upcoming fights?
It's been good. I've been working with Sarge for the last 2 camps, helping her out with her grappling, and obviously she's a world champion, so we've just been tweaking a couple things, trying to get her back to her grappling roots and stuff like that, and just making sure that she knows that it's there, when she needs it. I know all the fans always want to see a slugfest out there, but at the end of the day, man, it's wins and it's losses. You can be exciting and you can still, not get paid and not support your family and still not have a job. So in the end, man, you got to go out there, you got to win, you got to come up with a great game plan that's going to best suit, where you're strong at. And she's an amazing grappler. She's an amazing fighter all around. So I'm glad to be a part of the team now and helping her out. And we've been having fun training, and it's awesome.
And obviously, you've got your fight coming up in Bahrain. When are you looking to travel to Bahrain to acclimatize and get ready for Bahrain?
So I believe I just got my flight info, and I think I leave the 18th, which I think is not this Friday, but the following Friday. So I'll be out there like 5 days before, I think, and I think it's a 7-hour time difference. So it shouldn't be too bad. They're 7 hours ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think it's too bad. I didn't have any issues when I fought last time in Morocco. I have no issues when I'm really out here. So I don't think it's really gonna affect me. So I'm looking forward to it.
And obviously, you're in this flyweight tournament to crown the inaugural flyweight world champion over at Brave. And you find a guy in Jose Torres, who's obviously a UFC veteran, very highly touted guy, who's Titan FC champion as well. What kind of fight are you hoping to produce with him? Like, are you hoping what kind of styles do you think you'll be able to bring to the table?
I mean, I've looked forward to this matchup. I was trying to get the fight back when he was still the Titan champion. I know he had a problem finding opponents, and then at one point I think he had 1 or 2 opponents fall out. So I'm a very active fan, and I follow the sport. So I knew him coming up. Obviously we share kind of the same nickname. So again, that kind of, drew a little bit of the attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been looking forward to the matchup, regardless what stage it was on, whether it was a local scene or, a worldwide stage, it didn't really matter. I think it's going to be exciting. I think we're both very well-rounded. A lot of people are saying it's a typical striker versus grappler, but I don't really believe in that because he is very well-rounded. He comes from a wrestling background on top of his striking. I never came from a striking background, but I have it. People don't think I have any striking. I just really haven't had to use it, So we'll see in this fight. I feel comfortable wherever the fight goes, just like I'm sure he is. And we're the headlining fight, so we're gonna put on a show, and it's gonna be a fun fight.
And also, like, Bahrain is obviously where Brave is founded.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever fought in Morocco, and you're obviously fighting now for these global promotions? Do you feel like this is a much long-awaited opportunity for you to show off your skills? Obviously, you've been around for a long time. a lot of people wanted you to fight in the UFC, and now you've got a chance to fight now for a global promotion. Do you think this is a fantastic opportunity for you to show off your skills to people that might be not known you before this fight?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Brave is one of the top leading promotions, especially in the world with the global presence and stuff like that in Bahrain. And they're traveling everywhere. They just had a couple fights in Sweden, Romania. They fought in Brazil before, obviously Africa. So definitely, I'm excited to be on that stage, and I'm just excited to be fighting in general. Doesn't matter if it's local, it doesn't matter if it's international, doesn't matter what promotion. Obviously, I'm happy that I'm in a bigger promotion. Obviously, the pay is a lot better, and this point in my career, I feel like I've definitely earned it. And so I'm excited. I fight because I love to fight. I love the competition. So, as long as I'm fighting, I haven't fought, it'll be over a year. Might actually be almost to the day. I think I fought September 21st, or something like that in my last fight. So it's almost going to be a year since I actually fought by the time we actually step into the cage in Bahrain. And I'm an active person. I want to fight 4 times a year. And that's one of the things that when I signed with Brave, I made it very clear to my manager and to them, listen, I've signed with Brave before and I had an issue getting fights. You guys were signing new flyweights, but you weren't keeping me active, So I hope that doesn't happen again. I don't think it will. I just want to fight. It doesn't have to be a tournament. I don't care. I just want to be active. I want 4 fights at least a year. Keep me active. That's the only thing I really care about. Obviously winning the belt is huge too. But the main thing is just fighting. When you have it taken away because of the pandemic and COVID and stuff like that, you cherish it that much more, And I've had a couple layoffs in my career and I don't like it. I want to be active. I want to fight. That's my happy place. So as long as I'm active and I'm fighting somebody, cool. It doesn't matter who, doesn't matter where. Just, let's get it on,
And also, are you signed exclusively to Brave, or after this tournament, have you signed exclusively, or are you able to fight elsewhere if you wanted to?
No, it's an exclusive contract. It's a decent, long-term contract. I like the contract. I think it's great. The main thing that we had put in there was like I need to fight a lot. So that's the one thing. It wasn't like 3 fights over 2 years. It was a lot of fights, and that's what I wanted, I just want to fight, and I'm sure because of the past relationship that I've had with them, they let me fight out when something fell through, so I don't think that would change, but I do feel that they've restructured their promotion from talking to them, which is really good. And I feel that won't be an issue. I think that now they have a lot of flyweights. They have this tournament, which is huge. They have other fights going on at flyweight. I don't think it'll be a problem getting me fights with the guys that they have like they did before. So I'm super excited to fight for them. And I'm going to continue fighting as long as I can, man. I'm excited.
And also, to be fair to Brave, also they're fairly new promotion, aren't they? I think they came out 4 years ago, so obviously it takes time for them to build a division. And now it looks like they're building this flyweight division. As they've added Mohamed Mokiev. I know he's a bantamweight, but he can also fight at flyweight. Obviously, he was a great amateur. Is there any? Would you like to fight him one time in the future? Maybe like if you win the title, would that be an interesting fight for you to fight Mohamed Mokiev?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to fight anybody, whoever they put in front of me. I've never turned down fights, especially as a champion. I'm always more or less a company man. I believe if you're going to be a champion, you got to fight the best, and whoever they think is the number 1 contender, that's who I'd fight if the time comes to that. So, I'm looking just to fight everybody. I actually wish that this tournament was a 1-night tournament and we could just do it in 1 night. That's always been one of my my bucket lists for fighting, is fighting in a 1-night tournament. I just always thought that was something cool and something to experience. So when they announced the tournament, I was kind of keeping my fingers crossed, hoping it was a 1-night tournament. And then they, told me I was going to be over, a certain amount of months and stuff like that, which is still cool. I'm happy to be in a tournament, happy to, fight for the belt and, or at least fight towards fighting for the belt. So really, anybody they put in front of me, I'm excited. I'd love to fight everybody there.
Do you know how many fights you have to participate in before until you reach the final? Like, how many rounds is it?
So the tournament is 3 5s. I'm guessing the championship would be 5 5s. So it's 3 rounds. So we have the quarters now for 8 men. Then it cuts down to the semis, which is 4, and then the finals, which would be 2. So you'd have to win 3 fights in total to become champion. But as far as I don't know if it's a 5-round title fight. I can assume. I'm not too sure. The first title fight for the flyweights, I believe, Vala Murad missed weight, so he couldn't win the belt if he won. But I don't recall if that was 3 or 5 rounds. I'm not too sure.
What would this title, you winning the tournament, mean to you? Like, how do you think that will elevate your career?
I think it definitely elevates my career, especially for the hardcore MMA fans that really know about Brave. And like you said, it's only 4 years, so your average MMA fan doesn't really know about the international promotions. They're really focused in on the UFC because that's kind of like the mainstream. So I think it's good. I think any belt, at an international promotion is huge. I'm excited, but I'm in it to fight. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter where, when, how. I just want to fight, so it's cool to have that, on my resume. But in all reality, I mean, I'm happy to fight. I'm happy to be in a great promotion that's going to treat me good and keep me active, from what they say. And that's all I can really ask for. And I'm happy for that.
So you're happy with how Brave have handled everything, like post the lockdown, and how they've treated you towards this tournament as well?
Yeah. There really isn't anything going on. The promotion that I came from, that I was champion at, that I vacated the belt, CFFC, they literally just put on their first 2 shows. So they had to cancel a bunch of shows. So they weren't really putting anything on. And then, the UFC broke through and just said, "Hey, we don't care. We're gonna come out. We're gonna have this fight." And Jacksonville was the first one coming out, which was awesome because I was a part of that, cornering Sarge and her victory. So yeah, I'm excited that, during this pandemic I was able to sign a good contract, have a home, and have a focus on fighting. And when they announced about the tournament, I was like, great, because if I win, they're going to keep me active. They have to, because you're in a tournament, So I even love that. That's the main thing I liked about the tournament, was if I'm fighting in the tournament and I continue to win, I'm going to continue to be fighting every 2 months, which is awesome, So that gives me that even more little bit of motivation to stay active, is to go out there and make sure I'm winning these first couple of fights, because I'll be fighting more frequently.
And obviously, you're fighting such a global promotion. Like, where would you like to fight in the future? Like, people are going everywhere at the moment. Where would you like to fight?
I've always wanted to fight in Australia, to be honest with you. It's just another one of my bucket lists that I'd love to go to. I'd like to, just check it out, hear good things about it. I know that the flight is crazy. It's a long flight. But I actually want to get a pet kangaroo. And I've actually looked into it, where in New Jersey, you can have one. You just need a permit. So it'd be cool to go over there and, check out the kangaroos and the ocean and stuff like that, the beaches,
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. It's always been something that I wanted to. And whenever I saw a fight over there, I was always hoping, regardless of the promotion, that a flyweight would fall out and I'd be able to go over there and fight. So I'd like to fight there in Brazil. I'm going to be going to Brazil eventually, but I think fighting there would be super cool. But those 2 would probably be my top 2. And then probably Greece would be 3. I just hear it's a beautiful country, and I'd love to go out there as well.
And if any promotion can go to Greece, it's Brave, because you don't see many promotions go over there. And obviously, you see Brave breaking into new territory. Obviously, they've gone into Europe, they've gone into Africa, Morocco, obviously Middle East.
Yeah.
Japan will be quite special because I know obviously the crowd have so much respect. They're very quiet. Will that do you prefer that kind of crowd, or do you prefer more like a hostile crowd, like the ones in Brazil? What do you thrive on?
I don't think I've really been in like a crazy hostile crowd, so I haven't experienced what it'd be like. But I just feel like I'm so zoned into the fight that it doesn't really matter. I'm one of those people that I concentrate on my corner, concentrate what's going on in the fight. I kind of, I kind of mute out the crowd, I guess. I don't really let it bother me. It could be with experience. I have 32 fights. So, I don't know. I don't even know if there's going to be a crowd in Bahrain. That's not something that was told to us. I know we're allowed to bring one corner. So I would assume if they're restricting our corners that we might not have a crowd. So that's kind of interesting hearing the corner clearly because I've been on the other end of coaching. And, Sarge is great with listening. I'm having a full conversation with her in the middle of her fight, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that that's good, but I haven't been on the other side where I'm the one fighting, listening to my corner and not hearing the crowd. But, I've always been fighting in packed arenas, even locally. Packed meaning if it's a small arena, there's still a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always been very noisy, so it'd be interesting. It'll probably feel like a sparring session is what I'm guessing, where it's, kind of low. You just hear your coach or you hear like little things going on in the gym. That's what I can imagine.
And also you two both have kind of experienced these kind of no audience, because obviously you've trained Sajara Eubanks and Jose Torres has done commentary for Titan FC, so I know it's a bit different, but he's got used to the atmosphere, so it won't really play that much of a difference, will it? Really, you've got a good understanding of how it's going. Do you like it without crowds, where you can just hear your coach and you can listen to him more? And because obviously it might be harder for you to like listen to them like with a packed arena. So do you think this will benefit you, like in terms of doing what your trainers want you to do?
Yeah, I mean, I like it and I don't like it. Obviously, it's cool to be fighting in front of a huge crowd, especially if you're fighting overseas, because you get to experience the fan base over there. And when I was in Morocco, they loved us. I mean, they were like surrounding our bus. We were giving out shirts. We were signing stuff. Like, it made us really feel like we were at the top of the world when we were there in comparison to like local promotions. I mean, they stormed the locker room and had a line out the door waiting to take pictures with us, which was awesome. So that's the one thing I do miss. But obviously as a fighter, I do want to hear my corner to give directions. And you do have, at least in America, you have these guys that are screaming just stupid stuff all the time, so you try to focus in on your corner. So it's definitely going to be an experience. I don't feel like I am a fan driven fighter, like I don't fight with emotion. So I fight because I love to fight. I feel like it's something I'm good at. So I don't need the fans to like give me energy. I go out there, you put somebody in front of me, and that's the motivation I need. As far as Torres, I don't know. He seems like he could be one of those guys that fuels from the crowd and stuff like that, because he's always doing his own little gig and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. I think regardless, we're both properly prepared for it with the experience that we both have with a ton of fights. And, I'm excited for it. So I don't know if there is going to be fans or not when we get out there. I'm guessing either they'll tell us or when we get out there, we'll find out. But I don't think it's going to change. I don't think it's going to alter how we fight or anything like that. I don't think it's going to play a factor.
And also, I know Fight Island's obviously in another country, but it's around that area near Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, and I don't think they allow crowds. So I'm assuming that there's not going to be much crowd there. But like you said, with the thing with Morocco, obviously, because that was the think that was their first ever global event. So obviously that's why they got so excited, and that's something that's going to be missed, obviously, because you've got all these new places that you could go, and obviously you're not allowed to have a crowd, and you're going to miss that initial fan reaction, obviously, because you're about heroes, kind of like you're thinking, even if it's just a global promotion, maybe it's not like the biggest promotion, but obviously it's their first ever event there, so obviously they were so happy to see all the fighters.
Mm-hmm.
How was it to like perform over in Morocco? Like, how was like the culture difference? Was there much of a difference than it is in America?
Yeah, it was a little scary at first. A couple little hiccups with traveling and stuff like that because we couldn't fly directly into Tangiers. We had to get a connecting flight, and my connecting flight was canceled while I was in the air. So when I landed, I didn't have a connecting flight to get to Tangiers. And I think with Brave being a newer promotion, they were kind of like running around trying to get me from the airport to Tangiers, and it's a 5-hour drive, so there's no flights. They had no other choice but to send a car to get me. So it was a little bit of a hiccup, but we made it work. We got there. The culture's just completely different, everything's different. The building structures, people. Tangiers was fun. Casablanca's a little scary, because it seemed like they did have like a very high level of like military presence around the airport and stuff like that. And that's just not something that, coming from the United States that you're used to. Mm-hmm. And me, I had pink hair, tattoos, so like I kind of stick out. So it was a little, a little nerve-wracking, but Tangiers was pretty cool, so that was more the touristy area and stuff. They treated us really good at the hotel. They catered to everything we needed, but we did need a military presence anytime that we left the hotel. And we weren't allowed to take pictures, or they would take our phones and stuff like that. And it wasn't Brave. It was the security and stuff like that. But I also think because we had the Sheik with us, and also the like King of Morocco, or they were both at the venue. So I think that they were a little concerned, and that's why they had a heavy military presence, because you had the bodyguards and you had all the security and stuff like that. So it was definitely different, again, nerve-wracking at first, and then when we got to Tangiers, it was a little better. But it was an experience. It definitely was.
And obviously, like, you learn from these like cool like experiences. Obviously, like it's kind of like stepping out your comfort zone, isn't it? Like you're experiencing these new cultures, and obviously as a fighter, you do that a lot because you travel around the world. Do you do a lot of like traveling around the world like as an amateur, or were you pretty much stationed in America like as an amateur?
Yeah, so my whole amateur career was done in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. When I was an amateur, there wasn't much amateur shows. Those were only 2 promotions really, and so I fought for those 2, and that was pretty much it. So I never really got to travel. The only time I really started kind of even traveling within the U.S. was when I started cornering, guys in the UFC. Even back in the day, such as like Charlie Brenneman, Raffaello, Tractor, and Jim Miller, stuff like that, and then Caitlin and Sarge. So that's where I really got most of my traveling from, even just throughout my life. I lived in Florida a little bit, so I went to Florida, I went to California and Vegas a handful of times, but most of my traveling has been cornering and helping out teammates.
So like going to Morocco was kind of like a new experience for you then, like kind of like, and also now you're going to Bahrain, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do as well? Like, after you said you want to fight, obviously, do you want to fight in all these new places, or are you comfortable more fighting in America, or do you just not really care where you fight?
Yeah, I don't think I really care where I fight. I think it's cool that you get to experience different cultures and travel. The problem is, what I always said is, if I was to fight outside of the country, or even in a different state, I would like to extend my stay for maybe like 2 or 3 days, just so I can explore the state, the country, the city. The problem is with the pandemic now, you can't really do that because there's so much stuff that's closed. travel restrictions, like, so you're not really getting the full blown, experience because everything is kind of on lockdown, So I would like to do that in the future. Hopefully everything tends to open back up and stuff like that. But that's always been my goal, is because I don't know if I'll ever be able to get back to these places. And if I'm going out there on the, for work related, so to speak, I would like to, explore a little bit and be able to, check things out and just, kind of like live a little more open.
Last thing, is there anything you want to say to your fans and anything you want to plug before your fight comes September 24th?
Nothing, just that I appreciate all the support through everybody. My team stuck by me. We're finally getting back in there, and I'm super excited. And once I get more info as to how to watch the fight, it should be, I'm guessing, in the afternoon on a Thursday. I think the 24th is the Thursday, so it'll probably be somewhere between 2 and 3 or 2 and 4 in the afternoon on the East Coast. So just tune in. I'll be posting everything on my social media. And that's it, man. Hopefully we get out there, we have a great performance, and we move on in this tournament and get closer to that belt.
And I think you can also watch it on Fight TV for European fans. Fight TV obviously show a lot of Brave Combat Federation shows, so you should be able to find it over there. Good luck with your fight against Jose Torres. Wish you all the best, and thank you for allowing me to do this.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for reaching out, and thank you for the support. As always, thank you so much.
No worries. Speak soon.
Yeah, take care. Have a great night.
You too.